Hello and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 3 here on HeflaTV 2. Well, we're back here for Game 2 of the House is Down versus CNB Esports. I'm Grandis V, and for Game 2, once again, I'll be joined by Mike Loris.
It was a pretty tight game from CNB in game number one. So we'll see if the House is Down can make a little bit of recovery. I think probably the biggest turning point in that game was when CNB jacked the five-ish, seven-ish stack that THD had been working on. So we'll see if they could change it up a little bit in this game. Maybe let Amiibo through, please.
I would love to see the Meepo. Like, I don't know. I really want to see it very badly. But as for the first pick coming up from CNB Esports, it is going to be the Skywrath Mage. No big surprises there, but Shadow Shaman still left in the pool, and on the dire side, I'm sure the House is Down will be fairly happy to take that one up for themselves. But yeah, still plenty of heroes that are left in the pool, especially since Viper was banned out in the first stage. Although, in the South American scene, that's pretty normal. But Earthshaker, as well as Invoker, the pickup from the House is Down. Invoker, a hero that's really not seen in first pick territory very much anymore, especially without a Faceless Void to go along with him. But still, if you have a really good Invoker player, can make a lot of stuff happen, especially if you have a hero that's really good about initiating from long range, like an Earthshaker with those fissures setting up Sunstrikes.
A Doom would be a pretty sweet pickup for CNB, but it looks like instead they're going to prioritize their potential supports in the Wraith King. He's a pretty good support hero, though I think overall I would rather have a Shadow Shaman on my team, but we're seeing a couple of powerful heroes get through the pool. Brewmaster still in, Doom still in the pool, Shadow Shaman as I just said. So yeah, there's quite a few heroes here as both sides opting to go for what they're a little bit more comfortable with instead of what is commonly regarded as the strongest heroes.
Yeah, and with Centaur Warner being the third ban coming out from CNB Esports, a couple of those are going to be left through for the Houses Down to pick from in their next pickup. And, well, they're pretty much deciding which one do they not want to play against and which one do they want to play with. I think Shadow Shaman would be a really solid pickup for them. With Earthshaker and Shadow Shaman, a really good roaming duo. With Earthshaker to start with the Fissures, it makes life a lot easier for the Shadow Shaman, so he can get in range for those Shackles. And with an Invoker also on the pitch, they'll have plenty of damage to put into that as well. Also with Serpent Wards, as well as Force Spirits and presumably a Necronomicon on the Invoker, Roshan's very easy for the Houses Down to take. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that first pick out of the second banning stage.
Yeah, also the Tidehunter would be a pretty nice pickup, just because it's so difficult to beat the Tidehunter in lane. You have to really try super, super hard if you're CNB Esports to beat a Tidehunter, though. I think it'll go well on either side. It's really Tidehunter is a type of hero that does kind of fit into any lineup. But yeah, the Shadow Shaman would certainly be the premier support pick for the Houses Down, synergizing very well with the Earthshaker and the Invoker that they've already picked up. Will set up a perfect Sunstrike for the Invoker almost every time. And of course, with the Earthshaker, you could get some very serious roaming in, because Earthshaker does make up for the Shadow Shaman's weakness in that he has to get really close before he can land his disables. When you have a fissure to let that Shadow Shaman waddle his slow self in, then you're going to be landing disables at a much higher rate than if you were just going it alone. But we'll see what they ultimately want to pick up, as the final bans were Nature's Prophet as well as Centaur. I mean, they're still very strong heroes. We saw the power of the Nature's Prophet on CNB Esports in the last game, but yeah, they're chewing into the reserve time just a little bit to make this decision, and ultimately, it's going to determine what direction their entire draft goes towards.
It's kind of interesting to see them spend this much time in the banning or in the picking stage after not using the entirety of their time to pick up that Nature's Prophet as their ban. I thought they would more fully utilize that time, and after picking up the ban, they'll go for the instant pick, but maybe this is why they've been taking their time, because they're going to pick up the Visage here. Now, they have an Earthshaker on their team, but it looks like we might be seeing a Drow Ranger from the Houses Down.
Yeah, this might be the Cloud9 special Earthshaker. He won't benefit from that aura, but it's just one melee hero, and it's not even a melee hero that would need the aura that much. Now, CNB Esports with the Bristleback pickup, I really like this in response to the Visage, because those quills pretty much destroy Visage. It's really hard to survive against that if you're Visage or if you're the Visage familiar. So it's also going to make the Drow a lot worse for the Houses Down, since Drow really doesn't have a great time when she has people right in her face. She wants to be at the edge of the fight, constantly firing. And Bristleback's the type of hero to dive in, just YOLO charge towards the softest, most vulnerable target. And if there's a Drow Ranger in the field, then, well, she's going to be the softest and most vulnerable target. They could still go for it, but it's just going to be really difficult for them to keep that Drow alive.
Yeah. I don't know, and also Wraith King, another hero that's going to want to get up into your grill with the Blink Dagger presumably on your support Wraith King. Just blinking and stunning that Drow Ranger would really make Drow's life very difficult. She'll have the silence to push heroes back, sure, but her positioning is going to be very important. If they do go for it, no, they go for the Meepo.
Yes. It's happening, guys. It's happening. They take the Earthshaker and Invoker, two fantastic heroes against Meepo. And then the Visage is there too, because Visage is still a support hero that's capable of putting out a ton of damage, especially if you could fill that Soul Assumption meter up quickly. And I can't think of something better to fill that up than the Meepo Poof. So the house is down. We might be in for a very interesting game, guys, as Meepo is going to be played.
Yep. Well, I'm excited to see the Meepo. I mean, honestly, the Visage pick kind of doesn't really feel like it fits into the Houses Downs lineup that well, and I think picking up the Shadow Shun might have ended up suiting them a little bit better. At the end of the day, we'll have to see how the draft is going to end up. But yeah, I don't know, CNB Esports, they pick themselves up the Axe, and I don't know, their lineup is looking to be very run at you, very manly, just blink into the entirety of the enemy team, and if you catch out the Meepo with all of his clones and an Axe, as well as a Bristleback right-clicking and quilling you, that could end up being very hard for the Houses Down to deal with. We'll have to see how it's going to work out for them, but as it stands, I don't know, this is such a peculiar draft coming out from both teams.
I love it. I love it. This is so weird because there's rarely ever a time where you have this much AoE physical damage. Like, that just doesn't happen. But with Quill Spray on the field and Counter Helix, Visage's Familiars are going to get blended. The Meepo is not going to have a fun time either because he has additional magic resistance. And Meepo does have kind of high-ish armor as far as heroes go, but he's still not going to have a great time. CNB Esports, they've gone like for the most manly lineup possible. We're just going to ignore the Skywrath Mage for that point. But yeah, they are certainly manning up here, and they need a mid lane hero, I think, unless they want to put Axe there. But they have a lot of lane flexibility, and I'm so excited for this game.
Yeah, I don't know, Coaling Blade also going to be very hard for Meepo to deal with, because if any one of his Meepos gets low, it's a great way to instantly kill it. No way you're poofing out of there alive. But yeah, and especially with all of the damage that we've already talked about, it's going to be very interesting to see how this Meepo gets into the fights. He's going to have to be very careful about committing fully, because if he jumps all 5 Meepos in and then just gets blink called by the Axe, he's more than likely dead.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what the House is down and going to want to pick up. It's going to be a Bat Rider. I was going to say a ranged hero is really what they want against that Axe. Keep him at an arm's length and let the Visage, Familiars, and Invoker just go to work at Axe while he's struggling. And that's exactly what's going to happen. They have initiation now. The House is down, so Bat Rider can pull someone into the Meepos instead of having the Meepo go into the enemy. And the difference is between those two, it's night and day, because Meepo can safely poof all of his dudes to the lassoed target, kill that target, and still be completely safe to blink in later, perhaps. So this last pick from the House is down is a really, really smart one. It's going to solidify their lanes also. And CNB, well, their last pick is going to be the Venomancer, somewhat in response to the Bat Rider before he gets his Force Staff.
Yeah, for sure. Being able to cancel that Blink Dagger before the Bat Rider jumps in is always wonderful, as well as just giving them a really great way to chase down the heroes. With Scarlet Mage Concussive Shot as well as Venomancer's Gale, it'll be very hard for them to stay away from Bristleback as well as Axe, and both heroes would love to just be able to have full uptime on their auto attacks, be able to tank all the creeps and have at it. So I don't know, we'll have to see how it's going to work out for them. Currently, I'm liking the Houses Down's lineup a little bit more, although the Visage, it's still not really doing it for me. I think it's just kind of a little bit awkward to see that in the middle of their draft. But then again, if CNB Esports are able to get off to an aggressive start, which they definitely can with these picks, I'll be liking their chances. I think we're going to have a lot of fun clashes to watch, and it's going to be interesting, as most Meepo games are.
I was kind of hoping for a Dazzle last pick for CNB. That would have been so sweet. Just slap that Shallow Grave on Axe, have him jump into a pile of Meepos, and see what happens at the end. Like, you honestly don't know what's going to happen, because it's kind of up to RNG as to whether or not the Meepo lives or dies. But it's going to be the Venomancer for now, and we'll see how these lanes are going to shape up, as we're now in game number 2. It's been a long day of casting, and at the very least, we get to end this day with a very interesting lineup. So we have 4DR leading the charge up on top as the Venomancer. Right behind him, it's going to be Wesley on the Axe. Billy is a new player in this game. He wasn't here last time as a Skywrath Mage. Tabo is going to be on the Bristleback, and Ned is going to be following up as the Wraith King.
Just a side note, 40R was the Tinker last game, so we might be seeing a Venomancer mid, but on the side of THD, the top lane is going to be made of Boogaroo on the Earthshaker, Vestia is playing on the Visage, and their farming core will be Jubilu playing on the Meepo. Mid is going to take it by Leposa on the Invoker, and that will leave, last but not least, Yuka playing on the offlane Batrider, but I don't know, might have a little bit of initiation as Wraith King's just swaggering up towards this Visage. He won't be able to get in range for that Wraithfire Blast, but exerting his dominance, surely.
And he's going to put a sentry down. I thought for sure he was going to apply a Observer Ward there just so they could be super aggressive up on that top lane. But yeah, we'll see how these lanes are actually going to settle for CNB. It looks like Axe is going to be going towards the mid lane where he's going to be facing up against an Invoker. Should be a fairly even lane for the beginning, but Invoker, as Invokers normally do, once he hits a couple more levels of Exhort, should be able to zone the Axe out pretty decently, especially since the Axe messed up his block, so that's going to be really useful for him. Bottom lane 40R is going to be Venomancer versus Batrider, should be relatively even one there, as, well, the Venomancer, neither side actually, has a magic stick, but I'm sure they will prioritize that very heavily. That will mean that we get to watch the top lane, Bristleback, Wraith King, Skyrat. That's such an awkward combination. But it's up against a Meepo, Visage, and Earthshaker, an equally awkward combination.
I like the awkward combination coming out from CNB a whole heck of a lot more. With Bristleback, Wraith King, as well as Skyrath Mage, that's a lot of killing potential, especially with the haste stream picked up by Billy, and he'll be able to zone out this Meepo fairly effectively. Attacks the range creep once, kind of awkward there. But in the end, just going to start chipping away at Jubilu, not really accomplishing much of anything. Yeah, in mid, Axis started out with a whole boatload of regen. He really didn't spare any gold for that bottle. Up in top, we might have a go sooner rather than later. But yeah, the Axe has 2 salves, a full set of tangos of his own, as well as 2 shared ones. As Poofs come out from Jubilu to secure himself a couple of CS, he'll need some harass for that one. But in the end, for now, it's going to calm down. I think Bristleback is going to be doing just fine. Who has the Orb of Venom?
Bristleback currently is the only one, I think, with an Orb of Venom. We might see another one being picked up, but that's actually all the inventories are just full of green. So right now it's Bristleback with that orb, and they're doing a pretty good job at keeping Jubilu off the creep wave. Really, for Meepo, the hardest time is right at this stage where if you get caught out, you're just going to die. You don't have that much damage with Poof. You don't even have access to your net just yet, although he's holding a level for it. So CNB, they're applying the corrective amount of pressure at the correct time. If they keep Jubilu down, even opening up with a stun, concussive shot, Jubilu's gonna net and Poof, putting a lot of damage on top of him. Now with the 2-man fissure, they have a Soul Assumption, which will kill off the Bristleback. I think you're underestimating this Visage just a little bit as Vestius cleans up on top.
I don't know, in a tri-lane though, Visage, one of the premier heroes, is he's able to get that damage charge on his Soul Assumption very early on, and a beautiful fissure from the Earthshaker, keeping the Meepo safe after a really good double net, double Poof. Like, that was perfectly comboed by THD, and CNB just got caught out, and now Meepo has his second Meepo clone? Meepone? I don't know. He has another one.
We should really come up with a name for Meepo Lings. I've no idea. We'll think of that later, because we're just
with
gonna
the
watch
inevitable pauses.
Yeah, when the next pause this game, and when it lasts for 10 minutes, we'll come up with the Meepo name. Maybe we'll even poll the audience. So, audience, put down some suggestions now. As we have double smokes, all the supports are gonna run into each other. This is gonna be a little bit awkward. 2-man vision to open things up. Boogaroo, though, completely tapped out of mana. He's going to back off. That was smokes being wasted. So really, the winners of that engagement were the mid lane heroes. They didn't have to put up with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Slight win for CNB. They secure the illusion rune for themselves. But yeah, not really going to accomplish much as the Skyrath Mage picked that up. Yeah, for now, the Earthshaker is still only level 1. Earthshaker could do a lot with only the first level, but in a tri-lane especially, he's not going to be able to get that much experience unless they get some kills, especially when you have a Meepo in your tri-lane. That's effectively a quad lane as far as experience is concerned. This Earthshaker is liable to be very poor for a very long time.
Yeah, so he's going to need to get some kills to happen on this top lane. And against a Bristleback who will eventually be getting more Bristleback, like the skill after his name, he's going to be harder and harder to kill as this lane progresses, especially since he's getting a good amount of experience, whereas the Earthshaker and the Visage, they're really not as much. Although Visage is level 3, Soul Assumption does hurt like a bitch, and if Jubilu does get another Earthbind to double poof with all of his Meepos, then he's going to be able to destroy pretty much whoever they catch out on this lane. So we'll keep our eyes open for that. Let's take a quick look at how the other lanes are going. 15, 16 for 7 versus the 17 for 1. It is a very even lane. Top side, however, is a Sunstrike and the Poofs going to demolish Ned. Jubilu getting in there for his first kill, but not the first kill participation. So THD setting up for an Invoker Sunstrike with a Meepo net. Who could have seen that coming?
I don't know, they have plenty of lockdown now that they have the 2 Meepos, and now this tri-lane is pretty scary coming out from THD. I don't know, I didn't expect this to happen, but in the end, it is going to, and I don't know, definitely as we have a concussive shot, it actually goes to the furthest Meepo. That actually wasn't the primary Meepo either. Very interesting, that's the second time today I've seen some interesting concussive shot interactions.
Yeah, concussive shot has definitely been broken. Like, it was in one of the previous games where the Keeper of the Light, who was very far away, got hit with the concussive instead of the Brewmaster, who was really close. So, I don't know, maybe just Dota in general is on the fritz, because that definitely was going for the wrong target, it seemed like, but who knows. Taking a look at the final lane, we have 28 for 3 versus the 14 for 0. The Venomancer holding a pretty firm lead on this lane as 40R is just constantly spamming the wards with that Ring of Basilius active, and Batrider, though usually is reliant on Napalm and Firefly with the lasso opportunity to get a kill, initiating onto this Venomancer is really hard because of that Gale. Like, you're going to be moving so slow. Even if you do get the lasso, you're not going to be dragging him very far.
Yeah, and also just the spam of the Plague Words is being a general nuisance. Because they are magic immune, he's not really able to farm those up very effectively. He can put a little bit of damage, but with 4 points, or 3 points rather, into them from the Venomancer, he just can't do anything in this lane. And 32 and 3, Venomancer exerting his dominance. Although offlane Batrider isn't usually seen as a lane dominator anyway, and usually has to reserve some stacks for himself, which he doesn't have, as Boogaroo as well as Vestius have kind of been occupied.
And even if they do get around to stacking, it's going to be Jubilu to clear them out. Like, Meepo benefits so much from being able to just use 2 or 3 poofs, one from each Meepo, and then easily the camps are cleared. He gets a huge jump in experience that makes him closer to his Blink Dagger, what have you. Yuka in the bottom lane is going to teleport away from danger as they do rotate Tabo down to the bottom lane. Looks like CNB, they've completely abandoned top, and they're going to go for Liposta. Unfortunately for them, Liposta finds an Invis rune. That's like the worst possible scenario for CNB.
Yeah, not even a sentry in order to secure that one. Even if they win on him, Boogaroo did have a defensive fissure to back up his friend in the mid lane. So for now, that's going to be the damage of it. Is well, Axe is still very even up against the Invoker, but one gank onto him is, down in bottom. They're going on with the Sunstrike straight onto Tavo with the Meepo, bringing in both of them, but the Meepo is getting very low. Will be focused down with the poison. He will. The Soul Search goes on the 40R, and he will be brought down under tower. And well, Vestius, he's being brought down by the poison. Will it be enough damage? It shouldn't be, as he is tangoing up throughout the meantime. So yeah, tier 1 tower also falling very low. CNB not going to be very happy with how that turned out, as they gave up 2 kills, but then again, neither is THD. They lost their tier 1 bottom, and
Siege Creep.
Oh, did he not get the deny?
No, he didn't. The Siege Creep just snuck in there, and now he's in a little bit of trouble as they throw a concussive. He's going to be fine, but I think the Siege Creep just came in with the last creep wave or something like that, because I didn't see a Siege Creep there before that, but the Siege Creep got the kill. Sucks to be him.
Absolutely. So, CNB, they got the Meepo, they got the tier 1 tower, so they're going to be okay with that, although they've lost a lot after giving up the 2 kills on bottom. But still, Meepo, the highest priority target that they could have killed, so definitely could have gone worse.
Yeah, but still this Meepo, even though he did die in the bottom lane, is doing so much for his team, and he's even just going to continue to do more and more and more, because again, he hasn't cleared out any stacks. There aren't any stacks, in fact, but this Meepo, you really want to shut Meepo down early so that he doesn't become a large problem later on, or at least he needs more recovery time so that he's relevant eventually. That's not happening. Jubilu's having all the space and time in the world to do whatever the hell he wants. He has power treads up, another 700 gold on him. I don't know if this is the type of player to go for a Blink Dagger first or a Aghanims first. Either way, he should have that item up pretty shortly, as he's going to split both of his Meepos to farm up top and now gank the bottom lane. They see Tavo. 2 points in the Bristleback, strength treads. Let's see if THD have enough to kill him off.
Yeah, I'd like to see him go for the Aghanim Scepter first, but now they're going to open up onto Tavo with Grave Chill to start things off. And well, no net comes in, they poof in the secondary Meepo. Still no nets as they slow him down a little bit. I don't know, he's running away for a lot longer and giving a little bit of time for backup at the Sunstrike from the Invoker, secures the kill. And yeah, that'll secure the Midas as well for the Invoker after picking up Boots, Basilius, and Null Talisman. Decent timing for those boots to come online. But yeah, back on the Meepo, I'd like to see Aghanim Scepter first because I think the Bat Rider is really the one that needs to be doing the initiating for them, and Blink Dagger is just such a risky item up against CNB.
You know, it never occurred to me that Earthbind has a duration of 2 and the Sunstrike has a delay of 1.7. That's like as perfect of a setup as you could possibly want as far as Sunstrikes are concerned.
Pretty much, like, before BKB, that's perfect.
Yeah, so Invoker's going to be really happy with those kill participations. He's pretty much just camped out in the mid lane for, well, 9 minutes now. He has his hand of Midas. He has to worry about now an axe wielding a Blink Dagger. So CNB, they've kind of been initiated upon for every single fight thus far, but now with the axe holding that item, he's going to be looking to do some initiation of his own, as he does have maxed out Berserker's Call with level 3 counter helix. So he's going to be able to do some pretty hefty damage to THD, because thus far this axe has done literally nothing for the CNB side.
Yeah. I don't know, similar to the Invoker just now, as he has been mostly farming. But now it's game on for the axe as he smokes up with the Wraith King in tow. Blink Dagger looking for a kill up in top lane, presumably on the Meepo, and well, let's see if it's going to be successful as the smoke also comes out from the Bat Rider as well as the Visage. Looking for a kill on the Venomancer, so both teams are going to run into each other. The smoke pops simultaneously, I believe, and now they jump in, they get the Fissure onto 4DR, but the Axe is going to be able to get the Blink Call onto Yuka. Yuka just walking so slow with that Gale, he gets one lucky spin, and that's going to be enough. The Sunstrike, however, will secure the death of the Axe as, yep, they're going to stun up Vestius as well, eating through those Gravekeeper's cloak charges, and they'll be able to bring him down. Defensive Fissure, they might get the kill on Ned. Will he burn down to the poison? No, he won't. The Plague Warders aren't microing towards him, and he'll be just fine, at the very least, saving his ultimate.
Yeah, the ultimate's on a long cooldown, so he was never in any danger of actually dying. He was just in danger of using his ultimate. But ultimately, THD, they do kill off the Axe, but it's at the cost of 2 of their heroes. Unfortunately, there was not many reinforcements there for the THD side, and now with 4DR having the maxed out Plague Wards and the Buckler going to give that creep wave that additional kick of armor, they're going to look to take down this top tier 1 tower. Visage is back in this fight, and now he has Familiars, so he's ready to fight, or as ready as a Visage could possibly be. But he's going to have to worry about a blinking Axe and the fact that if Axe does blink in, the Skywrath Mage ultimate is going to kill the Visage almost instantly. Here we go, Vestius. Gust a shot. Axe. Not even going to call. There's the call. Where's the Mystic Flare? Do you even need the Mystic Flare? There it is. And the chop. There goes Visage's head. In the meantime, Billy as well as Ned, they're on the south side. They're being chased down by Familiars. Billy looks like he'll be brought down by the birds. Yuka does try to TP out. He'll be called, and it will cancel that TP. The double Familiar Stomp, though, is going to buy the Bat Rider a little bit of time, but that's all it will buy him, as Wesley dropping pretty low as Sunstrike. Ooh, will land perfectly on the Axe. Could have made it clear, but he ultimately didn't. Now Leposa being chased down by Tavo. He drops the Cold Snap, but it's not doing enough damage to kill off the Bristleback Sunstrike. The highest damage skill for the Invoker has already been used. The Familiar is still chasing down this Wraith King. They don't have another Stomp just yet, and the Venomancer will pop the mech and ensure that that kill does not happen. In the meantime, Jubilu, he's on the bottom lane, and he's taking a tower.
Yep. I don't know, Invoker, he has Invoke off of cooldown now. I might go for the Sunstrike if you check Bristleback's inventory, seeing he didn't have a TP and had to walk back to base, but won't shoot for it anyway. Probably the better choice, but I don't know. I like to see them go for it anyway.
Yeah, so Invoker, he's at quite a hefty bit of gold. He hasn't died thus far. So far, CNB, they've made several attempts at applying pressure to Leposa, like with, I believe, 2 smokes heading his way, but both of them, they've been interrupted by the THD supports kind of accidentally, so Invoker's holding on to quite a large sum of money at 2,700. Do you think he's going to go for Travels, seeing as though he has this much money this early on, and he has a Visage as an ally?
Travels would definitely be pretty solid for an Invoker, especially an Exhort one. I don't know, honestly, I have no idea. I'm not sure how Leposa likes playing his Invoker. I also wouldn't mind just a straight-up Necrobook. He already has the Basilius, and Necrobook plus Forge Spirits pushes out very well. Or maybe he goes for a positioning item, but yeah, he is pulling a whole heck of a lot of gold.
Well, it's almost 3,000 for him, so he could soon buy pretty much anything, no matter what he wants. Eul Scepter could also be a possible setup to 100-0 someone with that Sunstrike Meteor Deafening Blast combo, though he doesn't have Wex just yet. He will have it soon enough, but Invoker's holding on to a lot of dough. Visage does have Medallion. Bat Rider still struggling to get his farm up. He has died a couple times and hasn't been involved as many kills as he would really like. So 500 gold away from that blink, but eventually he will have that, and it looks like Meepo has kind of been AFK farming for the past couple of minutes. He's almost at his Aghanim Scepter first.
Yeah, at almost 900 gold. I like this choice by the Meepo. As I said, just makes him a lot tankier. the extra stats from Agnum Scepter, as well as the amount of damage from an extra poof, as well as the lockdown from an extra net. He has one Meepo very deep in enemy lines, a couple others up top, 3 there, but yeah, I'm not sure what this Meepo is entirely doing. He might run into some hero here that's not suspecting it, like Billy. But for now, this could be scary. He's more than likely going to be forced to poof away. Oh no, bumps in the axe. He has a blink decker. What's going on? He's going to net him and poof in with all of his Meepos. He's not taking enough damage to Sunstrike. He isn't going beyond the mark because he didn't net him down for a second time. The Vicious Mode is taking a lot of damage from the spins, and they'll actually kill him down, but at the cost of the kill on the axe. Bristleback, he's in there with a vengeance. Poofs away. No! The Bristleback last quills coming out from Tavo will be enough to get the kill on the Meepo. So at the end of the day, Meepo for axe as well as Visage Familiars lost. Slight win for CNB.
But Yuka still in a little bit of trouble as Tavo wants blood's gonna tag Yuka with that snot. Here comes Bugru, going to land a fissure. Echo Slam, it's gonna kill him off. Bristleback chasing way too far as, I mean, the teleport support was there. You're chasing into a tier 2 tower. I don't care who you're chasing or who you are, but you have to respect the possibility for teleportation support.
Yeah, for sure. DP up top coming out from the axe. He is going to be eating this creep wave a little bit. With a couple of spins and a call, he should be just fine. And cleans up the Forge Spirits on top. So a little bit more gold going the way of this axe. He currently has a cloak in his inventory, presumably going towards a pipe for his team. Up against the Meepos, as well as the Earthshaker, and also the Invoker's combo of Deafening Blast Meteor later on. It's a very good item, and while Invoker still hasn't spent his gold, he's sitting on 4,300. He could go for literally anything at this point. Could even buy a Radiance.
Mid lane, Bugru is going to get stunned up by Wraithfire Blast instantly into that Mystic Flare. Earthshaker is a really dead cow, and, well, not really much you could do about that when you're playing very defensively. Jubilu going to get stunned up under his tier 1, which is still alive, though it is slowly being chipped down by these very annoying Plague Wards. It looks like for now, THD, they're going to end up sacking this tower. Although they will fortify it, I don't think they're going to mount any defense anytime soon. They just don't have the right heroes in the right place. Invokers at 46. Vestius tries for it, but it's not going to end well, as now Yuka actually jumps in, going to lay down fire onto Ned. That'll pop the Reincarnation. They do take out the Visage. The Reincarnation slowing everyone to a crawl. Yuka going to drop very low. He will be brought down, but the Sunstrike under the Wraith King will kill him off. The nets from Meepo locking him in place. Now 40R going to get beaten down in the post, taking that right click as well. Can they find anyone else? Meepo dropping pretty low, but it's only the weakened one in the way back. Looks like Jubilu is going to get out of here alive, though. It's a 2 for 2 in the end. They don't get the tower deny, so you know, it's not a huge fight going either way, but seriously, Invoker, spend your gold. This is getting kind of unnerving.
It really is. I don't know what he's gonna go for. He could almost one-shot by anything, and, well, there's your Necronomicon by level 3, for Pete's sake. He's gonna have a one-shot bot Necrobook.
That's gotta feel really good buying that item. You'll have a huge jump in strength, and, well, I can't help but feel that a level 2 or level 3 book would have helped a little bit in that last fight.
Yeah, Vestius also bought back, so this Visage's item progression has been completely stopped by that last buyback. It really did nothing as he didn't have a TP available to get back in the engagement. Meepo also has his Aghanim Scepter, and with Roshan, THD are looking to make themselves a decent lead. Although the Meepo isn't that high in net worth with only the Aghanim Scepter and Power Treads, after a couple of teamfights that they're able to win, he'll definitely shoot up quite a bit. Invoker really the winner as far as gold is concerned, showing that off with the completed Necrobook being delivered to himself now. And, well, they're looking, on to the Meepo. He brings in the other ones, and he's just not dying fast enough. They didn't get the spins that they needed. TP attempt coming out from Jubilee. Will they be able to get him to dunk? The right clicks, it'll be enough.
The creeps barely killing off the Meepo as he tries to teleport out. In the meantime, 40R found Brugru in the jungle. He's going to slowly tick down from poison, but he will die in the end. In the meantime, THD were killing off Roshan. So they do manage to get something out of that, but they lose 2 heroes, and now their top lane is going to be pressured a little bit. The Invoker needs to heal. He can't afford to go up here straight away, so their tier 2 tower is going to take quite a hefty bit of damage, though I don't think it'll go down.
Yeah. I don't think so either, but yeah, for now it is going to take quite a bit. As Venomancer, he's cutting the creeps off with his Plague Words, and then they're right-clicking. They might actually be able to get this. I'm not sure if THD are going to get there fast enough. The Meepo is lagging behind, and they're not TPing, they're kind of lagging. But the Batrider, he has a Blink Dagger looking for blood as they TP back in. Fissure just going to clip 40R with the tip, but no Blink Initiation coming out from the Batrider, a little too deep for him to dive for that one. So, Tier 2 tower is going to survive, but on not too healthy HP.
Yeah, so THD, they need to make sure to not get picked off by this roaming band of CNB heroes. But again, it's really hard to keep all your meepos safe, first of all, because mechanically it's just hard to do, keep track of that many things, but also Axe has a Blink Dagger. It's so hard to keep yourself safe versus that because, again, Call into Mystic Flare, it does do a lot of damage. Even if it does catch 2-3 meepos and it's split a lot, then all your meepos are suddenly in a really awkward position. So Yuka, he's still in the mid lane looking for blood. He has a level 2 lasso, so it's going to last a little bit longer. But I don't think he's going to find anyone. CNB, they have a very useful Observer Ward within the Dire Jungle, and it will now be gotten rid of. But it already got its value. It served its purpose.
Yeah, saving them from the Batrider, definitely worth the extra 100 gold that they needed. Rather 150. 75? Oh my goodness. Math is hard, it's getting pretty late here, but as far as the game is concerned, Meepo's still pushing out with 2 of his Meepos down in bottom. They're currently hiding in the trees as Tanaka caught out by the Bristleback, but the rest of the team is starting to group up, potentially going to take this tier 1 tower up in top. But with the Venomancer Plague Wards, it's not going to be the easiest push, especially if they're able to cancel the Blink Dagger from the Batrider. But for now, Yuka is just kind of waiting in the wings on the side as Meepo brings in his 2 Meepo links, leaves 2 down in bottom. It's kind of hard to keep track of them myself, but the tier 1 tower is going to fall with just the vast amount of summons there. And Blink Dagger picked up by the Meepo's aggressive potential is now quite large if he's able to find out a single target, especially like the Venomancer or the Scarlet Mage.
There's a 20-second window where Yuka doesn't have his Firefly up, so initiation from the Batrider going to be a little bit awkward, but Jubilu, he's mobilized the good portion of his units down towards bottom. Axe going to want to test that Meepo defense. Bugru is in the area as well. That Echo Slam is going to be really useful in order to distract the Axe. He's going to get a 2-man call. Bugru instantly stunned up. Instantly the boost, though, onto Wesley. The Earthshaker is going to die. The Sunstrike does get split among 3. Jubilu, take out Wesley. There you go. And now try to run away. That's not going to happen. He lands 1 more net, but it's just not enough. In the meantime, his team, though, they're still pushing up top, and Batrider laying down a trail of fire. The Necro unit's just now timing out, so I don't know if they have enough gas in order to clear this tower. They lose 2 in exchange for 1, and again, not the best trade for THD.
Yeah, I don't know, this Meepo, it's so hard to play Meepo up against a Bristleback and X. Like, that makes Meepo's life so hard. The quills stack up, and then the physical damage is just too much for him to really deal with. Had that Sunstrike been solely on the Axe, maybe they'd be able to get that kill faster, and that would have been a different engagement. But in the end, Meepo as well as Earthshaker losing life down on bottom off of that invisibility rune picked up by the Axe. Well, as I'm speaking of the Bristleback, his next item is going to be an armlet. I love this item choice coming out from Bristleback. He's going to be able to punch up a lot of damage, especially when he's spamming out those quills and getting the extra damage from that. At this point in the game, it's one of the scarier items to deal with.
Yeah, it's an item that you don't really see all that often on Bristleback, but he doesn't really need to be going for the customary Bristleback items because that's what Axe is going to be doing. Aside from the Blink Dagger, Axe is going to be going for the pipe. He's going to be that frontline tank, so Bristleback doesn't exactly have to dump all of his gold into survivability. He can get the mix of survivability and damage, which is what the armlet gives. And Bristleback, as you said, with the Warpath giving him a lot of damage, giving him that staying power in order to stick to his targets, is going to mean that the armlet is going to be incredibly useful for him as he does now finish up that item, and he's going to complete it whenever he gets back to the base. So a very nice pickup for CNB, and also there's the fact that Bristleback's the only one who's actually going to be doing any sort of right-click damage, because right now they're all working out their physical values. Venomancer working on his Aghanims, will have that very shortly, but as far as late-game damage scaling, it's going to be in the hands of the Bristleback. Someone has to do it, and it might as well be the Pig.
Yep, Sunstrike, I think that was scouting out somewhere. I don't think they were going aggressively. It wasn't in the Roshan pit. Actually not sure where that was thrown. Yeah, very interesting. I don't know, for now, pipe completed by the Axe, and the Aghanim Scepter presumably going to be delivered to the Venomancer very shortly, as he has all of the components in the stash. Group up from THD down the bottom lane. They have the Necro Book available, and this tier 2 tower doesn't look like it's going to be healthy for much longer. Meepo's found himself a little nook up in the top lane, where to hide 2 of his Meepo-lings. Whenever the lane pushes out towards him, he'll be able to push that back fairly effectively, and I mean, like, worst case scenario, he'll just poof them down and bottom. Not a whole lot wasted by having those 2 up there. They TP 1 back mid, that is just a Meepo to get a little counter push going up against the Bristleback. But for now, tier 2 tower is going to be committed to, and without a glyph to defend this, a Necron Book on the ground. Very easy towers. TP coming in from Bristleback. I don't know, where's the Visage Stomps?
Smoke from the north. Wesley gets caught, and as soon as he blinks in, tries to get the call. He will secure the kill on Boogaroo, but Jubilu is just going to go to town, and anyone he get his hands on. Mystic Flare will bring down Jubilu very quickly. The dunk will actually miss. Jubilu's still alive, but he's not going to last for very long. That's going to be a 2-for-1 trade thus far. Leposa wants to use his Aegis. It's going to be reclaimed very shortly. He will use the Aegis literally 1 second before it is expired. Vesti's going to be worked on by Ned, and Ned will bring him down. Now Leposa going to respond. It's a double kill ultimately for 4DR as the Leposa Invoker still wants to go for Axe, has the boots of travel to jump forward if he does want to. But in the end, THD, they lose 4 and the Aegis, and they only claim 3.
Yeah, so in the end, win for CNB. That Venomancer ultimate just doing so much work. Level 2 and Aghanim Scepter ulti is really a pain to deal with, especially without a single BKB on the side of THD. Not to say that they would be building BKB, really the only natural carrier is Batrider later on, and he has a casual cloak, which is all fine and good, but it just didn't do anything. In the end of the day, Meepo, he got low. They weren't able to dunk him down as that was interrupted mid-cast animation by Fissure from the Earthshaker, I believe. But yeah, that's kind of how it came down. And I mean, Wesley, he's been trying for some very close HP dunks and has just been missing several of them. Yeah, that's going to be the damage. Meepo, he just dies so quickly in these team fights.
Leposa trying to get a kill solo versus the Wraith King. It's pretty ambitious for him, but yeah, the Meepo's having some real trouble surviving as he's now going to go for Wesley. Some final justice, about time for this Meepo as he does secure the kill on the Axe, although Invoker is going to, take the last hit because that's what Invokers do. But really that bottom lane fight went so poorly for THD because their Batrider wasn't able to get the initiation that they wanted, like this, onto the Bristleback. There's the lasso, going to bring him into the clutches of Leposa. He's going to actually go for Ned in the meantime. It's a much easier target. He doesn't have reincarnation. Ned should be brought down. Here comes the rest of Jubilu. Leposa, though, dropping very low really quickly as Tavo just going to town in that fire. He doesn't give a damn. He might be netted down. One more Quill Spray won't kill off the Batrider. He does manage to slip away, and Jubilu hot on Tavo's trail. He's going to throw a net, will miss. Going to throw another, will also miss. There's the Fissure as the Poison Nova does go off in the meantime. Jubilu really wants to go for Tavo, but he might be overextending as he is going to take a full Mystic Flare straight to one of the Meepos. Invoker will take out Scarlet Mage in the meantime. Boogaroo looking for Necroslam will find a Tavo. The Armlet Toggle not good enough for him as Vestius and Boogaroo now trying to retreat out from this fight. The Gale will hit onto Boogaroo as Vestius going to try to turn around for a 4DR. Soul Assumption not going to be enough, and Ned in the corner is going to teleport away to safety. No vision for that Soul Assumption. THD, once again, they take a really poor fight, showing how great this Bristleback is at just tanking hits and distracting the THD team.
Yeah, in the end, I think a lot of that came down to Invoker's choice of targets. He went for the Wraith King while the lasso was already spent on the Bristleback, and in the end, Bristleback was just brought into the rest of the team right about there, and then he was able to just wreak havoc with that armlet, doing so much damage, just clubbing everybody to death. And while Meepo, he wanted that kill on the Bristleback so bad, but wasn't able to get it. The toggling was too strong coming out from, I don't know, our Bristleback. So in the end, it's going to be another last fight for THD, and despite having a really stacked Invoker, the rest of their heroes don't have all that much.
Invoker performs a lot better as, wait, hold on, because Jubilu's once again going to get called. Mystic Flared, he's going to poof the entire army in. That just means more spins. He's going to run away with one of his little Meepos, and Wesley's going to get mech'd up. He will be just fine. The rest of the Jubilu clones, they're all going to die, or at least just one. There's the lasso onto Billy, but it's a little bit too late because Meepo's already down. Billy's going to get focused down by the Familiars. He's going to get burned down extremely quickly, but now you get in a little bit of trouble. He's silenced, and now the Meteor onto Ned with the Deafening Blast on the 4DR as well. That's only reincarnation, however. Leposa needs to get some mana draining going, but Tavo right in this fight now as Axe does jump in once again for Leposa. They'll lock down this Invoker. He's going to try to go into that Ghost form, but Axe with one more lucky spin will kill off the Invoker. Now Bessie is tagged with the Snot. He's going to be brought down as well. Tavo just going to town on everyone. Somehow Ned got that kill. I don't know how, but in the back end, Visage did snipe Axe with the one Familiar remaining. Tavo still standing very strong, and I don't know if THD have enough to actually kill off this Bristleback.
Yeah, with the mechanism as well as the heal coming out from the Wraith King's lifesteal, it's just keeping Tavo so healthy in these team fights. And with the armlet, he's sitting at almost 2400 HP with the Bristleback passive on top of that. He's just so hard to bring down. I don't know, you might look for more. The tier 2 tower is going to be taken as they blink in with all of the Meepos straight onto the Bristleback. I actually can't see Bristleback's unit, but he's falling quickly and will burn in the fire and the flames. But, I don't know, Jubilu, he's also not looking too healthy with the Venomancer ultimate as well as the Gale on him. It looks like he's going to take down, trying to poof away. He won't be able to make it as a killing spree for 4DR. And now they're looking for more. The Wraith King sitting very low and actually gets another kill on the Batrider with just so much poison damage on this core Venomancer. That's going to be the damage of it with a level 3 in that Venomous or rather the Poison Nova, excuse me. So that's going to be it. Earthshaker, he's able to get a Fissure onto 4DR, but that's not really a target you can go on with the mech, and Agnums, he's decently tanky.
Maybe if the Venomancer was on the right side because Invoker was just coming in, but unfortunately THD, they try to mount a defense. They ultimately do pick off the Bristleback, but they invest so much time and effort into doing so. They need some way to lock down this Bristleback for, even if it's just like a Yule Scepter. Just throwing up into the air, ignoring him for a couple seconds will be an answer, but right now they're just getting completely dominated by this pig. He runs in with very tanky backup behind him, with the Vamp Aura from the Wraith King giving the Bristleback a little bit more survivability in that area. It's really hard for THD to find these fights, and especially when their Meepo is constantly being initiated upon. If THD were getting initiations with their Batrider, as you know, that's what their plan should be, have the Batrider open up the lasso Force Staff, then they'll be in much better shape, but that's just not happening. They're constantly being initiated upon.
Yeah, Leposa's working towards that Scythe device, but as of now, it doesn't cancel the Bristleback passive anymore, and with a BKB on the Bristleback, he won't even care. Like, if he pops a BKB, he's going to be immortal, just runs in all of them. This Aegis on the Meepo is going to help them a whole lot, as that'll allow the Meepo to actually aggressively use his Blink to start things off, without relying entirely on the Batrider. He's going to lose the Aegis, sure, but then he'll be able to come back and hopefully still survive. Still in a bit of a precarious situation in that theoretical engagement, but yeah, for now. That's going to be how it is, as both teams are posturing, but nobody's actually grouping up.
Yeah, it looks like CNB, they might be gearing for a push down on bottom. BKB, the pickup for the Bristleback, that's even after they see that the Aegis picked up from the Meepo. So if they do actually commit to this push, it's awfully bold of them. But they have a pipe, they have Blink Daggers on everyone, they have the level 3 Aghanim to Venomancer ultimate, which is absolutely destroying the THD side, because they don't have any sort of pipe or anything like that to give them extra durability. As well said, pipe is going to be popped from CNB, and then they're just going to slowly work down this tower. Tabo on the front lines is Axe looking for an opening, as is the Wraith King as they jump forward. They're looking for, ideally, the Meepo, but I don't think they're going to find him because they're actually losing the top lane slowly but surely. Batrider doing his best to disrupt this push, but the top lane with all the Meepos plus the Invoker, they're going to start losing tier 3s. Now they have to teleport back. They only have the Axe in here. Axe is going to have really big call into the Meepos. He's going to be spinning a whole lot, and Jubilu's just drying up so quickly. That's going to be the Aegis spent. Invoker does slip out of there with Boots of Travels, but now Meepo is so screwed versus this Axe and Venomancer. Perhaps Sunstrike will kill off the Axe. Jubilu is going to try to TP out of there with one of his dudes and then poop out, perhaps. It might be enough to help him escape. 4DR in the meantime is going to try to kill him off, but also the Ursh down on bottom has picked up, or has been brought down, as Meepo does slip out of there alive. They take, at the very least, a force to fight back towards the CNB base to keep their own bottom lane alive, but it didn't end up going too well for them, as they're now going for more. Jubilu with Boots of Travel going to jump in on those familiars. He's going to poop in the entire army, lay down some nets, and Tavo is going to be beaten down. This time, doesn't have the space to maneuver, and they also see the Skywrath Mage Tornado just short, but they should have a Blink Dagger shortly. Blink Dagger net, going to cancel out the TP, and Billy is now so dead. Goodbye, Skywrath. THD getting a couple kills here and there, and this might be their chance to take down this tier 2 mid tower.
That last engagement made me love the Visage pick. That's a synergy that I was kind of missing in the draft. It's the Boots of Travel onto the Visage familiars. Usually you don't see Boots of Travel's... Well,
bottom ancient area. He's going to try to TP out of here. Leposa, Cold Snap, what are you doing? He's not even moving.
Nope.
What are you doing, Leposa?
So in the end, Ned is going to be just fine, which is, I guess, good for him, but I thought Leposa would have been able to cancel that one.
I guess he was just microing his Necro dudes to get into that back area, but that was a very simple Cold Snap or Tornado or Deafening Blast or freaking anything in order to cancel that TP. And then at that point, Wraith King is stuck in the corner, and even though he may have enough mana at the time for Reincarnation, he might get burned down from the Necro units, and even if he doesn't, just kill him twice because he's not going anywhere.
Yeah. I don't know, for now, we're just kind of waiting until the next big initiation, but yeah, Boots of Travel on Meepo is actually kind of broken. His split pushing power is rivaling that of like a Tinker at this point, and maybe even better, to be honest. Yeah, very strong if he's able to pull this off correctly. Currently, he does have just 2 groups set up, with 3 roaming around together, as well as the 2 farming his own jungle. So for now, he's not putting any pressure on the lanes, which I guess is rightfully so. With the Blink Dagger and the Axe, that can get very scary. But yeah, he definitely has that as a tool in his utility. Let's see. As far as the Invoker, he does have that Scythe of Ice completed. 2,000 gold on top of that, as well as the Boots of Travel. Invoker, top of the net worth chart, looking very happy for himself. CNB, their window, they're still there. They have good advantage in these team fights if they're able to find good initiations. They have a lot of damage. But as this goes later, I'm not sure they have the best tools to deal with a Meepo that gets 1 or 2 more big items.
Well, they're playing their best in order to make sure that it doesn't get to that stage as they make a straight push, nice and simple, towards top, and they'll take down a very easy tier 2 tower. Venomancer's ultimate will continue to be extremely relevant, even more so that now he has a Shiva's Guard. So the AoE magic damage that this Veno is going to be putting out is going to be huge, and if he picks up a Veil, it's going to be really, really scary, especially when you have an Axe initiating. They're all camped up top, they're just waiting for someone to cross their path. Whoever that unfortunate someone is going to get blunked upon by several heroes, most likely the Wraith King to open things up. But CNB, they're just waiting for someone, it seems. This is a pretty big opening for Meepo to start split pushing down bottom. As CNB, it looks like they're unwilling to try the high ground without getting a pick off first.
Yeah. Well, right now we have a smoke coming out from THD. They're looking for a pickoff of their own. Meepo does not have all of his Meepo clones currently with them. Only 2 of them got the smoke on them. But that should be plenty. Actually, his main Meepo didn't get smoked up, so he'll just push out top with his main Meepo. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. You'd like to have the Blink Meepo with the rest of your team if you're looking for a pick. They might find the Bristleback here. Do they get the vision of him? And it looks like they don't. Batrider not going to catch eyes, and smoke doesn't pop. In the end, nothing going to happen, really.
Alright, well, THD, they're going to get even more farm on this Meepo, who's wielding an ultimate orb, either Sheep or Scotty, either way. It'll be a really nice pickup for him, as he's not having the best of times. If he can lock down someone, especially like the Bristleback, so that he can't use that Warpath movement speed to kind of slip out of there, then that'll be absolutely huge for him. But if it is a Scotty, you just stay on his ass once you do hit him once. Also, giving your other Meepo clones a nice stat boost across the board is certainly going to be very useful for him. But so far, both teams are just going to be split pushing each other and trying to jockey for position, as Roshan, well, he's not responding just yet, but I feel like that's probably where we're going to see the next big fight. The THD side with the Meepo could very easily just solo it, that Roshan.
Yeah, for sure. There's very little stopping him from doing so, with the exception of him not being around the Roche Pit and Roche not being up, rather. And for now, it's just going to be a bit of a waiting game, as we're probably looking for the next Roshan for THD before they take a big initiation. So they have that available on their Meepo. Meepo has plenty of gold to finish up his next item, whatever it may be, Hex or Scotty.
Top lane, Batrider was thinking about initiating on that Bristleback, but ultimately he didn't know who was behind the Bristleback. He only had the Invoker nearby, and well, they're all just going to back off. Again, the split pushing is just each team trying to get a little bit of positioning in order to clear off the eventual Roshan. Everyone's kind of unwilling to fight an even fight, and it's kind of understandable. Like with the Meepo Invoker, it's scary the amount of magic AoE damage that THD can pull out, especially given a Batrider initiation. But now, they're gonna farm neutrals. That's good too. Also, CNB, just with so much tankiness, it's hard for THD to really analyze how well the fight's going to go, because a blinking axe is always an X factor. If he catches 2 or 3 of your heroes, or even just the Meepo, like with all 5 of the Meepo clones, the fight can be really bad for you really quickly. So both teams are scared, as well they should be, and that means that Roshan is going to be even more important for each team.
Yeah, for now, go ahead and take a look at the gold graph, and it's actually almost 0, 1,000 in the favor of THD, and experience about the same. Both teams very even, although the distribution is a different story. Invoker and Meepo at the top of the net worth chart, and presumably on the levels as well. With Midas on your Invoker as well as Meepo just naturally getting a lot of experience, that's going to be the case. Everybody in the game has their level 2 ultimate.
Oh,
so
Jubilu gonna find Wesley in the side shop, and let's see if they can man fight this one out. There's Yuka jumping in with the lasso. Meepo doing a lot of damage, will secure the kill, and now Ned also has the Blade Meal active, but they're gonna try to teleport out. Jubilu sitting in the Mystic Flare, though. He's gonna go down. Mystic Flare right on the edge. But it's an axe trade for the Meepo. I think this will be something that CNB want to push off of.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And that kind of goes back to the farm distribution. A lot of that is in the Meepo and the Invoker. If you're able to get pick up on one of those, the fighting potential of THD is heavily hurt. They still have their initiation coming out from the Wraith King, so the Blink Call, although the superior, if you're able to catch out those multiple units, they still have the tools that they need to take an engagement. And for now, they're not going to push all the way up into high ground, but they might be able to take Roshan in the meantime.
They're going to take a lot of damage in their mid tier 2. Invoker dropped his entire army there before he backed up into the bottom lane. It looks like CNB, they all will retreat. Well, they'll just now realize that Roshan is up, so they're probably going to be kicking themselves for not checking that a little bit earlier. But it is going to be, as I said before, the focal point of the next couple minutes of action, as the Meepo, once he respawns, the Axe, once he respawns, they're all pretty much going to make a beeline for this Roshan. And CNB, well, the top lane is not being pushed. It's actually going the way of THD. So top lane pushing in favor of THD. Mid lane is pushing in favor of CNB. Bottom lane, well, it's being pushed out from THD. So THD have a slight edge in the creep equilibrium as it stands. Plus, having a Venomancer in that Roshan pit is incredibly useful.
Yeah, for sure. Hard picked up by the Bristleback. He's going to pretty much have Perma Armlet on with this pickup for himself, so he can use that a lot more liberally when he's farming out, which will accelerate that more. But on top of that, it's really just going to make him an absolute nuisance. He could deny this tier 2 tower, and honestly, probably should. If it wasn't the last tier 2 standing, I think he would have done that.
Well, Roshan constantly is being scouted by Plague Wards and Familiars. Of course, CNB, if they catch a Familiar out with as a Bristleback or something like that, they could easily swipe them out of the sky, and Visage, though he does have a resummon, would rather not want to use this. Bristleback's going to go into the pit as they now start the Roshan. Instantly, though, it'll be scouted by the Invoker. Fortunately for Tavo, it doesn't hit him at all, but the Familiars are going to be messing with Tavo's attempt just a little bit, and Bat right around the Roshan pit is something you cannot take for very lightly, because he will screw up your Roshan attempt. If Tavo gets pulled into some trees and gets stuck, then that's just a lost fight for CNB, no matter what else happens.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him use the armlet inside Roche with the lifesteal as well as the heart. There's very, I don't know, little stopping him from doing that. But for now, he's not going to as the Tornado scouts it out. The Lincolns is broken by another snot from the Bristleback, and for now, no initiation, but they do have smoke on the side of THD, and this is very risky.
They catch Jubilu off to the left, and they're going to stun him up. He's not pooping anyone in. Jubilu's dropping pretty low. He's going to actually poop out. It looks like he will escape successfully. The Dire have somehow wrapped around to the south of the Roshan pit. I don't know how that happened, but they're all down there, and Roshan slowly but surely dropping. But in the meantime, top lane, Liposa and Jubilu, they're just going straight for Axes, and the teleportation back is forced from CNB. Wesley looking for a jump in, but it's a little bit too late. Ned gets caught with the Tornado, as does the Axe. They're still going for Roshan as Tavo forces the BKB, will secure the Aegis, and Cheese on the deck. He's going to get that one to 4DR. It looks like, yes, they get everything down bottom, but Jubilu in the meantime is going to go for Ned up on top. He's going to respect the Blade Veil and Divine Incarnation as Wesley jumps in for a huge call into everyone. Let's see how good the spins are. He's not getting that many, but stun onto the post, so they're going to bring down the Invoker first and foremost. Now they missed the player onto Jubilu. He's trying to escape, and it looks like he will teleport out with one. The rest of the poofs should escape, although one is silenced up. This one last Meepo is going to be the Meepo's undoing. They lose two heroes in the top lane. They lose the Roshan. They take nothing up on top. A big win for CNB.
I would say so. Yeah, Tier 3 was really the only silver lining on the cloud from THD, and yeah, that's about it. I thought they'd be able to do more with that split pushing, but just good reaction coming out from CNB. They knew they didn't really need very many people inside the Roshan pit. The Bristleback was pretty much all they needed, so it really didn't cost them anything to TP back. Wraith King picks himself up a Mjolnir, and this is going to make Tavo even more scary with a Mjolnir static charge onto him. He can just run in, and even if they try to focus him down, they're just going to take so much damage from the Quills as well as the Lightning.
Well, it's not even just Tavo. It's basically whoever the Meepo is near. If you have the Meepo working on the Venomancer, slap that Mjolnir static charge on him, and then Meepo attacking so very quickly with so many units is going to mean that the Lightning is going to be flying in every single direction. So the Wraith King has to be on point with that, but as long as he gets that off on somebody, then Meepo is going to get so much damage returned to him, not only from the static charges, but also from the two Blade Mails that are on the CNB side. And those Blade Mails are posing such a large threat to the Meepo, seeing as though there's no Vlads on his team, so he can't just, you know, keep working his way through that return damage with lifesteal. That's just not going to happen. He will take more damage than he's going to receive, but it looks like CNB, they're all on mid lane with the exception of the Venomancer still on bottom, though he does have Boots of Travels. They're going to look to pressure this high ground. It's risky, but they're going to go for it anyway with the Aegis on the Bristleback.
Yeah, I don't think Bristleback really cares. He's just going to turn on the Armlet, sitting at 3,700 HP thereabouts. They're going to last one back in. Will they have the damage to bring him down? The poofs aren't coming out from the Meepo. They're going to net it in place, and they will be able to bring him down the first time. The Pipe will delay things for now, but he will die, and now they're also going to lose the Wraith King Reincarnate. Wesley's going to be the first one to die for real, as he's brought down with the BK being popped. Jubilee, he's trying to be focused down by the excuse me, Bristleback, but it's going to be enough at the end of the day. Buyback from the Meepo, who wants to get back into this engagement as the Earthshaker is also going to fall. Deafening Blast comes out from the Invoker, but it's not going to catch anybody out, but the Poof's coming out from the Meepo. Will 4DR is going to be netted in place to follow up net. 4-staff coming out from 4DR. He's going to try to get up, he's going to eat the cheese, he's trying to survive. I don't think it's going to be able to make it out. No way to bring down Jubilu. Now Jubilu going to make that buyback worthwhile as he picks up the kill on the Venomancer. Bristleback still surviving, but not for long, as he's picked up by the Batrider. Not sure what actually got the last hit there, but in the end, THD, good defense of the high ground and punishing CNB for sticking around. It cost him a buyback on the Meepo, but definitely worth it.
Yeah, so they lose a couple heroes here and there, THD, but it's, in the end, is it really only the Meepo and Earthshaker that went down there? That fight was just so chaotic. Like, Invoker got so many of his skills dropped, and Axe jumped in to catch, at the very least, a 6-hero call, like including the Meepo illusion. So he's got a whole bunch of heroes there. Now Jubilu and the Post are right back on the bottom lane. They're going to catch Tavo with the Hex, with the net. He'll get 4-staffed out once. He does not have a BKB just yet, and Yuka will drag him right back into those Meepos. So we are having pork for dinner, as Tavo is going to get worked on by those Meepos. Can they kill off the Bristleback? It looks like they will be able to kill him off. And it looks like everyone else is gone. CNB, they might have lost a little bit too much in that last fight. The crackback from THD with Boots Travel is huge. Wesley going to jump right in as Laposa tries to TP out, but the rest of his team is right behind him. The back's going to pop the BKB, and Meepo's right back in this fight. He's going to jump forward with one. Where are the rest of the Meepos? They need to poof in anytime. There we go. Going to catch Wesley with 50 armor. It's not going to be enough because there's so much damage from Meepo. Going to change his mind, and he wants Skywrath Mage for dinner instead. Nom nom. Well, wait. There's the Ghost Scepter, one, and Nets. Billy isn't going anywhere. There you go. Wraith King is in the meantime dying. He's going to get Reincarnation onto 3 heroes, and he's still very capable of fighting this one, but he has to worry about the Meepo in the base. We'll have Mystic Flare drop them, Jubilu dropping very low. This will be a no buyback Meepo, and he will go down in the end. Now 4DR back in this fight. He's going to pop another Shivas, plus the poison. He's going to land it onto Vestius as well as Yuka. Yuka will teleport out safely, though Vestius not going to be as lucky. THD, they get out with their Invoker, they get out with their Batrider, though they do take the melee Raxes in top lane. It's in Breach as well, but in the end of the day, THD, they only take one set of melee Raxes. The defense, it holds for CNB.
For now, but I don't think CNB are going to be able to get a set of racks of their own with this Meepo down for a minute. I don't know, they'll have a chance, potentially, but they've lost quite heavily on their end. With no buyback on the Bristleback and Axe, the window is going to be very small.
Yeah, so when Bristleback and Axe do respawn, they won't have any time for buyback, and Meepo is up in 40 seconds. Though these boosted travels from THD, they're just coming in huge for them. Like, as soon as they won that mid-fight, instantly the Invoker down in the bottom lane, instantly the Meepo down in the bottom lane. Unfortunately, that's all. If they had another hero there, they might have been able to clear the buildings a lot faster. They do take the ranged Raxes in the end, but they force out a buyback from Tavo, and now he's going to be set back by quite a large margin. And they ultimately take now the entire set of Raxes. Some big items being picked up as Vestius gets the 3rd Familiar, the Invoker with the Blink Dagger, plus a Refresher Orb after that last push, plus buyback gold. I mean, this guy is loaded, as he has been, for pretty much the entire game. Batrider's going to go for a Hex and Meepo. Well, he's at 4,200 gold. Maybe it's time to ship a Stout Shield out.
I would think so. Either go for the Heart Root, pick up the Reaver, or go for the Scotty and get an Ultimate Orb to replace that Stout Shield. Save for buyback first, but yeah, 2 minutes before he's going to have that available for him anyway. But yeah, this Invoker, he's the one to watch in the next team fight. He's going to have his double combo, double Scythe. I love that he picked up the late Blink Dagger, especially with the double Scythe initiation. It's just so strong at catching out single targets. And I don't know, Laposa is going to be doing a huge amount of work if he wasn't already.
He's already been the chief split pusher for the THD side, and that's already gotten them one set of Raxes, so you can't ask for much more from your split pushing as the Familiars. Well, 4DR is going to start hunting them down as they are very awkwardly on the left side of the Radiant base. Looks like all the birds will fly home safely. In the meantime, CNB, they're in their own jungle, but they have to be prepped for a top lane push. Fortunately for them, the Venomancer is around, so he'll be laying down.
Oh, Jubilu. Down
Jubilu,
in the Radiant jungle, just blown to shreds. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Probably didn't have his camera down there and expected the rest of the CNB heroes to be inside their base. And, well, getting picked off at a very bad spot there. 60 seconds with no Meepo.
It's a safe assumption. They're going to take the range Vax down pretty quickly as 4DR does throw out the Poison Nova. Will only land it, well, onto no one, actually. They do throw out a Tornado, which will catch both the Axe as well as 4DR. The call actually completely missing as well. Another Tornado as the Invoker tries to cover the retreat for the rest of his team. Has a Blink Dagger, but Ned going to jump forward with that Mjolnir. Try to go for the post. A huge 4-man Deafening Blast, but it's not going to be enough. Skywrath Mage getting that kill with the concussive shot. We said it before, and it finally happened. Billy's going to be on a killing spree off of that, but they take out the Invoker, they take out the Meepo. Though both of the heroes do have buyback, this is the time for CNB to force those out.
Yeah, definitely. This is really their timing windows. They blink forward, potentially fighting the Batrider, but he'll also blink away. Just out of gross curiosity, does Scarlet Mage have that gem? He does. It has 0 kills on it currently, but now he's just stacked up 1. So Billy, going to be happy with that gem. Well, for now, the push is going to continue from CNB, and yeah, they have a buyback on the Invoker, and now the Meepo is also alive. Although he's level 25, having that reduced cooldown timer on your death is, I don't know, pretty strong, and we'll make sure that he's going to be here to defend against this push. So maybe CNB will think twice about this, or at the very least try to force out the Invoker buyback. I'm not sure if they have the tools to do so, though.
Also, Meepo will have his buyback in about 10 seconds. Boogaroo gonna get stunned in as Ned does go straight ham for that Earthshaker. They will miss the call once again. Now they're in a very awkward position as they both get tagged with the fissure. There's a nice initiation onto the Wraith King. This will be only that reincarnation. In the meantime, the mid lane is in complete breach, but top lane is also in complete breach. Meepo's just going to go for the Megas down in the mid lane, and CNB, they have to make a play for something. The Raxes just aren't going to be good enough because they're going to be facing down Megas. Jubilu will take down the mid lane completely as CNB do take the melee and range in mid. They have to go for GG right now. I don't know if they can teleport back in time. They are going to go for GG. The Axe is going to jump in, try to go for Yuka. He's going to get him with the call, but the pipe does pop out. The static charge providing some pretty serious value, but in the meantime, Jubilu still in the enemy base. He's racing. This is a full-on base race situation as the tower in the Dire. It's going to be focused down. 5 heroes for CNB. Trying to take that out. Laposa. It's time to break out the Invoker defense. He's going to throw out an EMP first. Needs Deafening Blast. Needs Meteors. He will drop it with the tier 4s from both sides. Slowly start to drop down. Now Meepo back into his own base. Going to catch 40R off to the north as the Mist Player does get dropped in the Batrider. He's going to get lassoed onto that Axe. Going to pull him right back into the clutches of Vestius. Earthshaker will lay down a slam, but the Ancient slowly going to be brought down by the CNB side. Meepo needs to get back into this fight. Needs to focus down Tavo. Tavo taking a lot of damage. He doesn't have the BKB, and he will be brought down very quickly. The Ancient at half HP. They're going to catch no one else, it seems, as 40R. Actually, no, he's going to get triple blinked upon. He doesn't have a prayer in the world, doesn't have a force staff. He already used to get down to the low ground. He's going to be brought down, and CNB, it was so close. It was so close, but now they're facing down Mega Creeps. I think THD might just have won the game.
Yeah, I don't know. If THD really wanted to go full-on base trade, they could have TP'd in the Invoker and some of the Necrobooks there, but in the end, wow. Necrobook 3 by the Earthshaker. This is go down mid and go balls deep. They bought back on pretty much everybody that's alive. Bristleback and Skywrath, the only ones that are still left in this engagement. Venomancer picks himself up a Maelstrom. Just anything to help push up against these creeps. I'm not sure it's going to be enough. It looks like we're in for the last fight, and it should be a good one. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Bristleback does have a buyback, and it's going to be 4v5. Let's see if CNB can make a miracle happen. They're going to get the call on Yuka. Can they bring down this Batrider before this fight really starts? Mystic Flare is there. Yuka does barely match the play, though he does go down in the end. Jubilu trying to focus down Billy, but he does go staff and force staff his way out. He's going to try to put as much damage on to the Earthshaker as he can before he goes down, but Jubilu going to go to town now onto Ned. This is going to be reincarnation number 1. Tavo still alive, but he's dropping really quickly. He doesn't have a BKB. This is going to be his death as well. That's the end of the Pig. That's the end of the Wraith game. And that is it for the Radiant. Holy crap, 50 minutes, but it didn't feel like it.
That
Jesus.
was a great game. Good game to both teams. What an ending there. I'm always glad to see a Meepo, but when you have something like that, like the early game went really good for CNB. They were able to play very aggressively, got some really good kills, and wow. What a game. Meepo coming out strong, and the split push coming out from THD was just too strong, going to tie out the series 1-1. It is a best of 2, so that's all we're going to have, unfortunately. I'd love to see a best of 3 between these two teams. But yeah.
That was quite the series. But yeah, it is ultimately a 1-for-1 in the end. Had a nice little base race scenario going. Don't see that every day, especially not with a Meepo and an Axe. But it is hard to outpush a Meepo. If you guys enjoyed this game, if you enjoyed the set, be sure to follow this channel, HeflaTV 2. Also head over to HeflaTV 1 and HeflaMoke. That's where all the English coverage is going to happen from us. Also Twitter and Facebook. It's all just Twitter and Twitter/HeflaTV, and Facebook is the same thing. All the VODs will be on youtube.com/HeflaMoke. And well, that's about it. I think I need to rest.
Well, thanks for casting with me either way, Mike Loris. I've been Granite V, and well, Well, as I already said, he's been Mike Loris. Thanks for watching here on HeflaTV. That'll be it for the late shift, and we'll probably have some more Dota coming up later on in the night. But for now, that's going to be it from HeflaTV. If you want to support us, watching the ads is a great way to do so. So if you stick around and bear with us, listen to some music, and hang around with us in the chat, that would be wonderful after the game. So, GG, guys.